Warning, this is a very serious, slow narration, slow playback time, because I'm talking to you about all my thought processes. This is round 1 of a tournament against DoubIeRose713. So first of all, I have some advantages and disadvantages I'd like to list. I personally think my team was better. I was technically favored in voting, and I was team captain. Before I continue the advantages, my disadvantages are, at least for me, I suck at eyeballing. It was a Monday. I had never used this team before, and I'm bad at tournaments. So going back to the advantages, my prediction style usually is really successful. Yeah, I said better team. I was playing to win, and sometimes I don't. This team lacked a spinner. That was really key. And I used damage calculations throughout the entire match, and I'll post some of them in here. So I put Mew in the lead spot, thinking that a tournament, okay, if he sees lead Mew, he's going to assume I'm going to have one of those lead Mews. So I try to trick him and go with Donphan, and he starts out with a Pikachu, and I wanted to stay in on the fact that Pikachu would not be sashed. It has to carry the light ball if it's a Pikachu. And that means I have Sturdy, I could take a hit and one-shot him with an Earthquake, and he would be entirely aware of that, so logically he will switch out, yet he stays in and Grass Knots. So already I'm making some dumb plays, but I needed my rocks up. That's very key. Now I can go for an Ice Shard, and since Pikachu is an extremely frail Pokemon, that will do a hefty amount, but now I'm losing my resistance to electric really early on, and that is absolutely awful, and this isn't how I wanted to do it all. So I am going to go into Jolteon and fire off a Hidden Power, predicting him to switch, or that might actually have taken out the Pikachu. I was thinking I might have Hidden Power Grass in the back of my mind. It turns out I have Electric. I guess I kind of change them up sometimes, and I had two things I thought I had that I didn't, or however you say that. I thought my Mew was leftovers, and I thought I had Hidden Power Grass, but I had neither. So I'm very afraid of this thing, earthquaking, waterfalling, whatever. So I'm going to go into Roserade. First time I used one also, expecting to take either one, and fortunately goes for a waterfall. I resist that. I have really good defenses. I was super afraid of the Ice Punch, though. Absolutely terrified. But I know I'm able to take at least one hit, so I am going to go ahead and take this opportunity to set up my spikes. And since he doesn't have a spinner, that should be really key for my Jolteon and my Arcanine, who are my two frail-ish fast sweepers. My priority, and then my special attacker, who has like 380-something speed. I don't want to take a Flare Blitz, and unfortunately I no longer have Mr. Donphan, who I would have gone into him and absorbed the Wild Bolt, but instead I walked right into that one, and that does a ginormous chunk. But looking at the damage and all that, I think he's going to expect me to switch out, trying to save this thing. So I'm going to predict him to not go for the Wild Bolt this time, and try to just rest up, get Marvel Scale, and heal as much as possible as part of this whole plan. So he Flare Blitzes, that's perfect, that was what I was planning, gets the burn. It hurts, but I'm going to use Rest anyway, it doesn't matter. He takes very hefty recoil, and now my thought process is, I have a Melodic in here with, sure, boosted defenses because of Marvel Scale, so he is not going to switch out. If he switches out, Stealth Rocks will kill him. And I'm obviously Rest Sleep Talk because I use Rest. He should know that, and that means he'll just go for the Wild Bolt, staying in, trying to do as much damage as possible. And surprisingly, no. So I switch out into Nurgles thinking, oh yes, Wild Bolt, guaranteed. And he close combats, and that is, I almost messaged him game over. Jolteon was basically my key. It always seems to be my key, and I blew it. Here's the damage calculation. That was a clean KO. Nothing fishy there. He didn't get me in or anything, so I go down, and that's really bad. So I was thinking, since he killed me, I actually didn't calculate. He might be adamant, so I will go into Dorastay, Since he does not have rocks up, this should be a nice, easy revenge kill and take out one of his pokes. But I believe the score is 5-4 right now. I'm down, and Dorstay is my only sweeper at this point. So I have to be very, very careful with him and try to work around this. Fortunately, rocks and stealth rocks should be doing a massive chunk to anything he goes into. Once again, my check to Quagsire is Roserade. I switch into it, and he double switches into a Mew, who I quickly figured out was the bulky Mew, max defense with leftovers, everything because he got leftovers. But since he double switched in, I think since he made an aggressive switch like that, he's now going to switch up and make a defensive one. If you kind of catch my drift, it's all really in the mode predicting. So I'm going to stay in, expecting him to not Psychic me and try to Sludge Bomb. I could set up another layer of spikes, but more importantly, I believe if I Sludge Bomb, I probably will get the poison. I was praying for it, I got it, that's alright. He didn't miss his Will-O-Wisp, so it's all fair. I also was contemplating staying in here, taking a Stab Psychic, probably able to live it, and set up a second layer of spikes. It would have turned out actually to be the better play, but I wanted to save this thing and not go risky guarantee spikes here and die, and try to set them up a little later. So I'm going to go out into Melodic. It's really my only wall since I completely blew Donphan away, and that's really bad. The poison will do some steady damage. I'm going to try to do the rest Sleep Talk, but unfortunately he does see that coming and is going to taunt me once that happens. But I think here, I know I'm taunted. My goal is I'm going to stay in. It seems kind of stupid, makes me sort of set up fodder, but I don't see anything that would potentially set up on his team. Besides Pikachu, Melodic is a pretty steady wall, so if I can just wake up, I'll be able to Scald and stuff. But it might have been in my best interest to stay asleep. I didn't want to risk any sort of switch at this point. I have 4 pokes left. I want to completely preserve Mew so it can take a hit. I can't possibly in any way risk Arcanine getting hurt at all. It's my only priority, my only chance. I don't know if Tauros has Banded, Scarf, Life Orb at this point. What else is there? I just want Melodic to take the hit pretty much, because there's no way I'm switching Roserade in on a Mew. That is just asking to get Psychicked, and that's not a good play at all. So now I'm finally able to wake up. I'm going to predict that he'll now switch, because I'm awake, and go for the Dragon Tail, just so his Pokemon that comes in will get hurt by both hazards. Since it's a Machamp, it'll take about 18%, I believe, 19% with the hazards. Plus Dragon Tail does nothing but shuffles it out and sends something else in, and that is a Pikachu. And I cannot risk taking a T-Bolt. And I figure at this point in the game, he is going to T-Bolt. So Roserade is my best bet. I don't want to get destroyed. And yes, I can't take a hit with anything else. I need to protect my 2 sweepers, and Melodic's weak to this thing, so I'm going to make an interesting play here and try to Giga Drain to take this thing out, because it's a big threat to my team, though arguably I could have set up spikes after taking the Hidden Power Ice, died, gone into Arcanine, and tried to revenge kill it, and the second layer of spikes would have proven really useful. But I really couldn't safely switch with this Pikachu still in threat, so I am actually going to just Giga Drain, try to get as much health as possible, but it's not going to be enough, because he is going to go into Tauros. And I still don't know if it's Banded or Scarf. This is the first time he's sending it out, but luckily it takes a quarter of its health because of my 2 hazards that are up. And he's going to retaliate me, leading me to believe it's Scarfed. So, since I think it's Scarfed at this point, I figured Retaliate would take me out. It turns out to be Banded. My hope was if I could get this thing below half, I know an Extreme Speed from Arcanine will take it out at that point. But I'm not there yet. So I'm going to go into Melodic, knowing that he has to switch. He won't do much to me. And I'll Dragon Tail whatever he goes into. That'll do some significant damage. Plus whatever he goes into takes dual hazards. I Dragon Tail them into something else. And I was hoping Mew would actually come out so it could take more hazards. That thing being a bulky threat is pretty important, though. I was figuring at this point my Mew with Shadow Ball could handle it. I'm going to stay in and keep trying to shuffle because I fought Machamps with Arcanine before. I know I need to get its health a little bit lower if I want to even hope that an extreme speed will take it out. So I Dragon Tail him, thankfully hit through confusion, that shuffles him out, and out comes Tauros. Thinking this thing won't hit all too hard, I'm going to stay in and try to rest up, get my health back, and this is where I find out it is actually banded and not scarfed. Wow, this is actually sort of slow, because he'll go for the return now stab and stuff, and I realize, looking at that damage, he is definitely banded. I'm like, okay, don't worry. I'll rest it up, I'll get all my health back and wall him, and then I hurt myself in my confusion, and oh crap. That is bad news. I just lost my wall pretty much, because he'll take me out with a return, and now I'm in a lot of trouble. So my only hope at this point is Mew. I want to preserve Arcanine even more with extreme speed, and I know I can scare it out with the threat of something or him thinking I'm a defensive Mew. So he goes into Quagsire just to get a free switch, power up Retaliate, scout me out, as I go for the Psycho Shock, whatever its new English name is, I don't know, just so I can hit special things. Particularly Chansey, I was figuring this is a tournament, he might bring derp, cheap stuff. And this thing comes out. I know I can take one hit. I'll show you the calc in a second. I don't know if it's before or after he attacks me, but I'm figuring I can at least take him out. And looking at the damage, I know it's last resort because it's the 4th gen calc, but it's the same thing. As you can see, I should be able to take that, kill him, and then it'll be a double down or something, and he kills me. Fun. And he's also jolly because he outsped me. And max damage screws me. And then he makes a horrible misplay here and doesn't switch out of Tauros. If I were him, I would have switched out because Machamp would have died to the extreme speed either way. But then as Tauros comes back in, it might have intimidated me, or would the Stealth Rocks and Spikes kill him off? I'm really not sure. That's kind of a gray area. But either way, I'm going to be able to take out either of them. And out comes the most strategic part of the game yet. Because I know a Flare Blitz won't kill him at this point, and I want a couple more hits of poison on him. One layer of poison, it does more than lefties. And look at the damage and all this. After my next hit, which will be an extreme speed, he'll have 80 health left, and another extreme speed should be able to take him out and preserve me enough so that I will survive the recoil. And that's why I didn't go for Flare Blitz. He would have killed me with the Psychic. So now I'm thinking my only chance is extreme speed. The recoil will kill me. It turns out I might have actually lived if I had gone for the Flare Blitz. But you play to win, not play to not lose, because that's just a pathetic strategy. And min damage, he lives. So that's a good game. Kinda got haxed out there, but what are you gonna do? I did get the poison hacks on his Mew, but it ended up not mattering. So, it was really, though, a super duper fun game. Check out my opponent. So long. And if you like this kind of narration, I probably won't do it again. It makes me have to talk way more. Comment, like if you like the video, etc. So long again.